2, 1. We are live. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here. And thank you so much for joining us. My name is I am the host of this show, Classroom Without Walls, using technology to reimagine education. I created this show because our society has changed a lot, and social media and technology play a huge role in our changing society. As educators, I believe we need to change how we teach and how we interact with our students. If you are new to the show, welcome to the show. If you are a returning attendee, thank you very much for your support. And if you are watching this on replay, hey, future people, and thank you so much for checking this out. On this show, I interview leading professors and educators and education professionals regarding how they use social media, how they use technology to educate and engage with their students as an educational tool. Today, I'm so honored to have Dr. Becky Carmichael to join us. And she is a Wikipedia expert. She has been using Wikipedia since 2011. So many years of experience. And she's also actively involved with Wikipedia Education Foundation. And she brings tons of tips, best practices, and some examples to share with us today. And I'm going to get this right. And she is the science coordinator with Louisiana State University communication across the curriculum design of College of Science. It's a long title. I wrote it down to try to get it correct. So I'm truly honored today that we have Becky join us, and I can see that a few people already joined us. And if you could give us a heart, give us a like, give us a share, that would be great. And thank you so much for your time. And Becky, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to learn more and a lot about Wikipedia from you today.
Oh, I'm excited to join you and be a part of this experience.
Is there anything you want to add to what I mentioned?
I think that you really did a great job of covering it. It's so I work with CXC, which is communication across the curriculum. As a science coordinator, I support faculty and students in the College of Science as well as the College of Coast and Environment. And really any kind of science project, I am here and available to help. And I get really excited when I get to be involved.
And this is awesome. Normally we hear like communication folks, people in liberal arts, super excited about social media and technology. This is actually the second time that I have someone from the science background who is so fired up about using technology in the classroom, which is so nice.
Yeah, so my background is in disturbance ecology, and I had taught conservation biology here at Louisiana State University a number of times, and it was during that time as a teaching assistant as well as through my graduate work that I realized the broader impacts, those outreach opportunities were so crucial, and finding ways in which we could translate our science, expand the audience, but also involve stakeholders across, the different disciplines as well as different areas to be more involved, and the exciting possibilities that take place when you have that involvement. Technology really allows you to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. We already have a bunch of people join us. So if you can let me know where you are in the comment section, and so we can connect more with you, that would be great. And just an icebreaker question so that we can get started. Given that we are talking about social media, I want to know, what is your favorite social media app? And can you please share with us? Only one.
Okay. Right now, really, it is Instagram. I'm obsessed with taking pictures, just even in my backyard. I really like this backyard ecology. It's my opportunity to take my son outside and play with the little green anoles and milkweeds and get my hands dirty. There's something I find that's just satisfying of trying to get really close shots of different organisms, and then sharing those finds. It also lets me play in the garden, which that's my relaxation zone.
That's awesome. I just want to say hi to quite a few friends joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, and much appreciated. And now we are just going to dive in. I always start the show with a why question. There are so many tools and apps available. Why Wikipedia? So what brought you to this journey?
So it really started as this wonderful suggestion from my major professor, who suggested that I attend a training in 2011. And since that training, it was all based on how can you incorporate Wikipedia-based assignments that allow students to meet course goals in terms of learning content, as well as start to develop an understanding of how to present writing to multiple audiences. I really think that Wikipedia is an amazing tool, since it can get up to 15 billion page views in a month. So that's so many different eyes, and of the connected world, when we either use Google and we're searching something, or even if we go to Wikipedia, we're looking for an answer. It's the beginning of a research journey. And so wouldn't it be amazing if our students could help facilitate better information that then allows someone to continue on that information journey?
That's awesome. Yeah. I never attended any wiki training, and I'm so new to this. And I have a quick question for people in the audience. Have you ever used Wikipedia in the classroom? Are you also new to this, so that I can maybe kind of tailor my questions? I'm definitely a newbie. And so maybe you can share with us, like we discussed the why, the how part. So how do you even use this? Give us some context, some examples, some best practices. This is what you do, like ABC, kind of a step by step, or like a template or bullet or a list for someone like myself who is really new to this.
Sure. So one of the things that I do is first you get an account. And so by getting an account, you're starting to establish yourself as a credible individual and user that's driven to expand knowledge and share knowledge with all of the other Wikipedians. So anybody who edits Wikipedia is known as a Wikipedian. And once you get started, you have your own sandbox, let me back up. You have your user page. And on your user page, that's where you could put a little bit of information about who you are, maybe type in your interests. And really then it starts to get into searching for topics that you're passionate about. Maybe you're really interested, so I've been interested in invasive species or different types of natural disturbances. Going through, looking at some of those articles that are either expanded and seeing what kind of content you can add. Can you add a citation? Is there a way to better explain a sentence? And all you do is click edit, and you can start making those edits. And then once you've got your edit, you hit save. And now you're a Wikipedian, you're part of it. That's a very simplified way, but it kind of gets you through that initial editing piece.
Yeah. And we have an interesting comment from Darren, one of our regulars, and he's like, kind of avoided. Can you please tell us why?
So I could actually ask Darren. I've heard this comment by many faculty saying, avoid it, don't go near it, it's unreliable. But there's an appropriate way to use Wikipedia. And so one of the things is to go into an article, read what the content already is, and ask yourself if it fits within one of the pillars of Wikipedia, which is it verifiable information? Is it citing reliable sources? And is it placed in a neutral context? Because it is a digital encyclopedia, so it's not a place for someone to take one side versus another. They're having, a very neutral stance to allow the reader to make up their own mind. By doing so, then Maybe it's one thing where you go and you start looking at references. This could be a nice place for somebody could start doing research as well, just based on what references are there.
Yeah. And Darren, he was just talking about references, and students don't always check the references. Yeah,
they don't know. But once I think that's one of those things, these unique ways to unlock Wikipedia articles. Really go right down to those references and see, are they up to date? Are they citing key contributors to the content, the topic at hand? And then go to those sources to really investigate into that topic further.
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to my friends who are here. Hi, Gary, Alberto, Darren, Jacqueline, and Natasha, and Ro, and Krista, and many others. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any question, I'm 100% newbie to Wikipedia. If you have any like entry or intermediate or advanced level questions related to Wiki in the classroom, please just type in the comments and I will make sure to ask you questions. So Becky, can you kind of give us like one specific example and walk us through what you do if we were teaching this class right now and you give this assignment, like what do you do specifically so that our audience can walk away tonight and go home and update their syllabus and insert a Wikipedia assignment? So can you give us like a specific example so people can apply right away?
Certainly. So one of the things that I really like to start with is really considering what your course goals are. So I like to work my way backwards and identify what the goals are for my class, what kind of content I want to be, want them to leave at the end of the semester, what those skill sets should be. And then I like to look at components that will allow my students to build those skills. So with Wikipedia, it can be intimidating. They're going to have to learn just a little tiny bit of button pushing. And it really is. There's a lot of tools that allow them to make it a little easier. But more importantly, they need to learn how to interact within this collaborative community. So I build a scaffold assignment. I first have my students search for topics related to the class. So in my case, in the little search box in Wikipedia, I have them type something like category and then hurricanes or wildfires, and then start looking at those articles and evaluating the content that's already existing within it. See if there's something that needs to be cited. So I encourage them to start there. Look and see what's already present and then see how you can add a citation, as well as see what may have been directly copied and pasted from another source. So we work on paraphrasing as kind of those first steps. So there's two things I'm trying to get at. One, I'm trying to get them comfortable with the material, but two, I'm trying to get them comfortable within the platform and establish themselves as true Wikipedians. The second part that I do is I have them pick an article of their choice that's related to course content and then add a little more. So this could be something to where they're adding a couple of sentences, maybe a little bit of a paragraph, again, supported. And then I have some peer review come in. So my students give each other peer review within their sandbox. So there's a couple of pieces, and excuse me while I plug in for a second. There's a couple of pieces with Wikipedia interface. And this is going to get just a little bit technical, so hang on with me. If you
want me to share any screen, please do let me know.
Yes, so if you'd pull up the Wikipedia homepage, I'm going to just kind of talk you through that. It might be a little easier for the listeners. So when you go on to Wikipedia, you will notice that on the homepage, it has the main content of that day. But up toward the top, you'll see it has tabs, main page, talk on the left. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see it says read, view sources, view history. Now, this is basically the setup on any of the Wikipedia pages that I'm going to show, and this consistency is just marvelous to me. So let's say we pick Hurricane Irma, since that shows up on the main page. If we click on that article page, and this is something that is a new article, obviously, you'll see that on the left-hand side, it says article, and it has an associated talk page. So in the article, that's where all of the content is going to be about that particular topic. And then on the associated talk page is where there's conversation or the dialogue about that topic among the editors that are contributing. On the left-hand side, or excuse me, on the right-hand side where it says read, edit, and view history, now here's where students can click on and actually make edits. The same thing can be seen if you click on any user. So I'm going to click, if you click on the talk page for Hurricane Irma and scroll down, one of the first users, I see someone called Brendan the Wizard. If you click on any of those users, now you see their user page and their associated talk page. The user page is where you can have conversations with that, or you learn about that particular user. On their associated talk page is where you have discussion. So for students, they also have a user page. And then the user page has, they have a similar setup. Then they have a sandbox, and that sandbox is where they actually start to develop content. I have some things that I'm going to share with you for afterwards that we can attach with this video that may also help the listeners through that process. But basically, through all of that explanation, I have my students give each other feedback on their talk pages or their sandbox talk page. And that's so my students learn how to engage in dialogue and give each other peer review. And then that's also where I have some conversations. So again, doing these small little processes, having them engage with the Wikipedia community, having them engage with each other, they're learning content, they're learning how the platform works, and I build them up into where they add a substantial contribution to that article that they selected. So instead of a couple of lines, they add a couple of paragraphs, maybe major revisions, they add an image.
That's just like fascinating. I'm trying to show the screen, but I'm having some technical issues.
Oh no.
And I don't know if it's going to because I already added the extension, but it told me to add the extension. I tested this last night. Everything worked fine. We'll see if this will show up. But this just sounds really fascinating. Do you have do you give students a detailed guide or rubric or something? Maybe if you don't mind, you can share with us later so I can share with the audience.
We'd be happy to share those materials. So one of the benefits that I have is in Wiki Education that's based in serving universities here in the United States and in Canada. They've created a wealth of resources. And one of the links that I did, I thought I shared, but I will share with you, and the listeners, is they kind of walk through some of these steps of editing Wikipedia. And in fact, I brought one of them with me that I can show you a picture of. So they have different little editing guides and to get the Wiki Edu logo. And so within this guide, it walks you through as a student as well as a faculty member how to maybe set up some of the components of an assignment, how to get started. It takes some of the nervousness of the student out. It alleviates that piece. As far as rubrics, I definitely give them a rubric so where they know exactly what I'm going to give them feedback on. My feedback that I give them directly on the Wikipedia platform is as you would want to emulate another editor interacting with you. I never put anything that's associated with their grades. So no scores, no numbers. I try to keep it all appropriate for a publication process.
Yeah. This is really awesome. Everything you've mentioned is new to me, and I can't wait to play more with it and apply it to my own classes. And we got really nice comments from Alberto. Hey, Alberto, thank you for joining us. And he now uses it as his learning playground, which is nice. Yeah, I think we were chatting earlier. And how did students respond to this?
So at first they get scared and they get really apprehensive. One of the other things that I do for my students is toward the beginning of the semester, when I'm first assigning this particular project that's a semester long, I give them an in-person workshop. So I bring them into our space. I have them all in front of a device that they are going to be using to edit Wikipedia. And I do a little walkthrough. I have them do some searches. I have them make some edits. I have them talk to each other so they can get the feel for the platform and then understand that they're not going to break it. And so some of my students will say, oh my goodness, I'm going to break it. And I had one student say, sitting down and being forced to do the training was a little, daunting. But then I saw the application and they really enjoy it. So there's still, for the majority of my students, they get excited. They see what they've learned coming into life. They see other people engaged with it. It's raising the stakes because they don't know how many people in the world are going to view. In fact, one person came running into the classroom and said, I got on the main page, so in the Did You Know section, and they said, I've already got, 200 different views from it.
Oh, wow.
And they were really excited. And so thinking that, their term paper is not going to get that kind of view.
Yes.
But yet this could. Another student has used it to improve Wikipedia articles related to different diseases in Spanish. So she looked and translated. She was translating articles on diseases from the English version of Wikipedia to the Spanish version, because there's different languages and it's not just automatically translated. That has to be done by volunteers.
Wow, that's just fascinating. And I bet students feel really good about creating that type of impact, from their work that they don't really get from a term paper handed to the professor.
Yeah, and I think that was also something they were nervous about. They were scared about what they called trolls, bothering them, harassing them. And we went over, issues of netiquette. So how do you interact with someone online, virtually? How do you conduct yourself in a professional manner in a very public space? And how do you keep true to what you do know and what you still need to learn? This was a place where we could really talk about effective collaboration. We could talk about supporting ideas effectively and also defending those ideas and admitting when, saying, yes, I am correct on there. Here's the evidence for why I put this statement versus, you know what, maybe I wasn't quite correct. So they have to negotiate a little bit to make sure that how they present the information is appropriate.
Yeah. So in your classes, do you also give trainings on professionalism and ethics on social media or on Wikipedia? Do you give them trainings?
So I do. So for the Wikipedia, when I'm doing any kind of Wikipedia project, both in my class or for any of the faculty here at Louisiana State University, those students come into our CXC studio space, and we can offer them a Wikipedia training. They also have online tools. So as I said, the universities that are in the United States and Canada, they have access to what's known as a dashboard, which has some student training. And so the students can do this virtually and go through the process, learn about Wikipedia, and then apply. And also the faculty have this access. In the broader sense on learning how to do social media training, we do that as well. So we really work with our students on, what's going to be your profession, what's going to be your career beyond this space, and how should you start to look at how can you use it more professionally.
Wow, that's awesome. I just love everything Becky mentioned. If you love it, and give her a heart, and she's just truly amazing. And social media training. So what do you mean by that? You give students social media training to
Right. So one of the big things that we do with communication across the curriculum is that we're wanting to help assist students become more effective communicators in 4 modes of communication: writing, speaking, visualization, and technology. And social media really encompasses, I would say, all 4 of those modes, as well as Wikipedia, because you need to be able to articulate your ideas through writing, through images, and use that technology. And so we do hold both workshops in the studio as well in the classroom to help better prepare students for what to expect within that discipline. And we also get to talk about the type of social media that might be more appropriate for one type of profession. So for instance, if they're wanting to go into the medical field or they're wanting to go into research, Twitter might be the better place. We talk about why you can directly interact with that community. If you're wanting to do outreach, Instagram might be your place so that you can really showcase images in your work and make connections that way. And then we talk about what's appropriate to place on there so they maintain their online reputation.
Wow. So advanced, which is like really good. And but there's this perception. We always think that, you know, our students, we call them digital natives, and they are truly like digitally savvy.
Yeah.
And like, do you find that the case, or it's a misperception, or what's your take on that?
I think that there is a misperception. I think there's some things that they, you know, they can pick up and they know how to use, but they don't always know how to use it in a professional manner. And I think it's really good for anybody who's using any kind of social media, no matter what their age, to be reminded of professional use. And I always have to do a check with my own self. I'm like, should I put this on there? Should I not? And so I think that for our students, this is really genuine opportunities to get them to start thinking about their life beyond that classroom wall, where the world is you're going to have to interact. You have to interact in such as we're doing now, this type of interaction, this type of live broadcast. They could be doing this for a conference. Mm-hmm. If someone starts looking them up, what are they going to find? Many of my students, though, will say, I don't want to do it any kind of social media. And then I have to have the conversation about, well, then what are you giving someone to find out about you? Mm-hmm. There's benefits here to using it if you're using it effectively.
Yes, definitely. I'm so happy you mentioned, and this kind of social space goes beyond the classroom walls. That's why I created this show called Classroom Without Walls, and it's really to reflect the power of social media in terms of creating a virtual community. And so everything you said is just like so spot on. And let's go back to Wikipedia. And can you kind of please, you definitely shared a lot with us, really great practices. I can see comments from people, everyone is enjoying it. And can you please share with us like 3 best practices or tips, like things that we should be careful if we want to, like, I never used Wiki in my classroom. So if I want to do this, what are some 3 important things that I need to be aware, like when I incorporate this into my classroom?
Yeah, so one of the first things that I would say is making sure that this is the right tool for the course, the course goals. And so making, really thinking critically and carefully about how you're going to apply it. And if it's really going to fit. So one of the things that I have found from experience too, is if I try to I'm like, this is so cool, and I just throw it in, and it ends up being this appendage that doesn't really integrate, then we really have problems. So the engagement with the students tends to be low, and it's more difficult to keep up with. So definitely make sure it fits. Second, you have to also be trained and know what you're asking your students. So you have to participate actively. So do the assignment yourself and make sure that 1, you do the training, and then 2, you see how that that assignment's going to lay out for you. And then 3, be very clear with the expectations that you have. I really think that having a clear rubric is useful so that, sorry about that. So everybody.
Live. That's why we are live. Yes.
We are very live. And having a clear rubric that defines what your expectations are, what you're going to be grading your students on. And if I added one more thing, it's just be bold, just try it. That's one of the mottos of Wikipedia anyway, is to be bold, make those edits, be okay if it's not correct, because in general, there's a good community out there that will understand. They're happy to have other people contribute, but also know that if you do make a mistake, own it, fix it, and then learn from that.
Oh, I just really love this, which I learned from my own teaching experience, like with social media technology, you just never know, you always run into mistakes or problems. You just have to embrace it. And students, they appreciate that, you are being authentic, transparent. You are learning as they are also learning. Yeah, definitely. And I have a kind of follow-up. Do you want to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, one of the things that I do like to show the students in the workshops is where I had made a mistake and how it was identified within, I'm going to say, seconds, and it was fixed in seconds. And that was it. I got this nice little message that says, you did this. This is not appropriate, or this is not the right thing to do. I think this is what you were trying to do. Happy editing. And I'm like, if that's it, that's fine.
Yeah, definitely. And we got some really nice comments from here. The first one from Jacqueline here. And she says students may be familiar with the devices, the tools, but they are not ready to use them as a strategic communication and learning tool. I think this is where you were talking about earlier, that with teachers, we need to train them, right?
Right. And so exactly, I think that they're using it for communication with friends, with family, for entertainment. And I think that there's a real opportunity to show them how they can continue to collect and collaborate and create content, but you can spin it toward a more direct learning tool within either their major or your particular class. And I should also say, the class that I use this in personally is for non-science majors, and it's on science. So I'm really starting to have them think about, genre, materials, how to find information within the sciences. I mean, I really push them to find information so they're more they're not only just digitally aware, but they're also developing a little bit of their information literacy as we go.
Yeah, that's just amazing. I also love this comment from Alberto and 21st century communication skills. And I think what you described here is really a holistic teaching and learning experience for the students. You are not just learning based on the textbook, but use all of your senses and different skills and involve the broader community, which is really nice. And we have a really nice comment from Natasha, and thank you so much for joining us all over from Greece. And Wikipedia serves as an information source platform where people play an active role in populating this information. Yeah, definitely. I think what she was talking about is a huge change from our earlier model where teacher is considered the only authority in the classroom, right? Mm-hmm. But do you feel that kind of challenges your own status of being the teacher or authority in the classroom?
That's a great question. I think that what this really allows me to show is that, and this is borrowing a friend's philosophy as well, is that it really it does blur the line a little bit of teacher and student. But in all honesty, I'm always feeling like I am a student and I'm continually learning. I really like that Wikipedia allows my students to become teachers. So they're finding information, they're teaching me, they're also learning how to teach others. And so I really think that it's building their own their self-confidence, if you will, as contributors to the knowledge process. They're getting to test out their own understanding. And to me, that's a win-win. I think that it's starting to get them to feel like they have a voice and they have something valuable to contribute. And then I think that just continues with this sense of wanting to learn and share.
Oh, this is so true. I love this comment from Darren, and just like stepping down, give students the agency and allow them to be teachers. This is really huge. Some teachers may not be ready for that, but if you do embrace that, it is such a great learning moment for both the teachers and students. Such a great example. And also I want to follow up on the second point you mentioned regarding the teachers need to get trainings. So maybe this is a nice transition to talk about Wiki Education Foundation. Is that where you received the training?
So initially it started off as Wikimedia. It had a different name, and it has had some transitions, but I do receive training materials through Wiki Education, and I have wonderful colleagues that both I interact with on a daily basis, almost, I should say, and they provide support for many universities across the United States and Canada, and I work really closely with them to both onboard faculty here at LSU to incorporate Wikipedia in the classroom, and so some of the materials that they offer is similar to the training materials of the students, so walking the faculty in to the process of editing, but then also walking them through assignment design. And they've created this amazing tool called a dashboard. And so there's where this hub where your students go, the faculty member can put all of their information about the assignment. They can break it down by the schedule for the class, and then they can link resources to that. And so the resources can be anything from, basic editing of Wikipedia to some things that are a little more topic specific, such as genetics or sociology or environmental science, to really give the students some basic guidelines for what's appropriate for writing on those topics on Wikipedia. It's also a nice community of individuals who can answer questions both of the faculty as well as they can be a support for your students in the classroom. And that's the other thing that I have found for my students, at least, if they've had questions and I can't answer them, then I'm like, well, let's ask Helene or Sage or Ian. And then they give us a pretty quick response. So they're a small team, but they have a huge impact.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So is this anyone, like if I want to use or anyone in our audience want to use this, they can just like reach out to Wiki Education Foundation if they are in US or Canada, or?
If they are in the US and Canada, yes. That said, I think once you become familiar, though, with Wikipedia, there's ways to utilize it and connect with the Wikipedia group within your region. And I think that there's also ways to emulate some of the practices that they have. And so that could even be just setting up using your own user page on Wikipedia and having your class first land on your own user page, and that's where they could find instructions, materials, and they could be, help either organizing it on your own, the faculty members and the instructors' user page, or if you use another aggregate like Moodle or Blackboard, embedding some of the components and links that way too. Your students can still have a very similar, authentic experience in the creation of content that way. And it's not just writing, I want to add. I mean, images can be added to Wikipedia. They can evaluate the references. they can look at the evolution of a document, an article, from when it first started to its current state, or maybe how that article changed as a result of, say, a current event, a big event, or a political issue that arose, or a film, or maybe a new film, say like King Kong, the versions of King Kong, has that page changed? Many opportunities.
Wow, this is really great to know. So anyone in the audience, if you are thinking about using this, definitely reach out to Wiki Education Foundation. Do we have to reach out to specific individual, or just like Google them and just contact them?
It's wikied.org, and there's a little bit about them. I'm trying to remember the website. It's on the right-hand side. There's a little bit of about them, and you can learn about the team, and you can contact them directly. If they don't know, they're really good about finding someone who does. That's also a place where you can look at their impact both in the classroom and see some testimonials from students and faculty. I want to say there's some other tools there that might be valuable for the listeners.
Oh, wow. This is truly fascinating. I was just so engrossed in our conversation. I didn't even pay attention to the time, but it's so amazing. I can't wait to try. I hope you guys really take away lots of good tips and from what Becky shared with us, and apply this to your own classroom, and to really create this kind of virtual space so that students can share their work with the outside community, which is truly like fascinating. And also I love this comment from Gary, given what's going on in our world and society. And I can't agree with him. And last week, when we had Paige talking about using Instagram in the classroom, and this conversation about emotional intelligence and cybersecurity and bullying, all those things just came out. And so I think like showing that you care, you love our community. What's your take on this?
I really think that, so this is interesting, and I always tell my students when they're approaching this assignment to approach it with the idea that everyone that's contributing is doing so for the love of learning. And maybe that's a big assumption. I am an idealist. But if they honestly are adding things in true passion to extend the knowledge, and then to interact with someone in that. And if someone gets a little spicy, then just maintain that professionalism. The other part of this in terms of the empathy is there are ways in which you can talk to the administrators of Wikipedia, which again are volunteers, and report actions, or you can try to can you hear me? Uh-oh. Oh no, your camera's dead? Oh goodness. Oh, so you can still, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? no.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Hey, just talking about embracing technology, embrace your mistakes. I had no idea what happened. It just went blank.
Oh, well, I'm glad we get to chat just a little bit longer.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for staying, guys. We were just like, I was about to be like, yeah. They're like, whoop.
Oh no.
Oh, it's okay. But this is we're alive, you know. This is to show students we're learning in the classroom, right? Just be authentic.
I can't agree more. To be authentic. And what I was going to tell you was the one thing about Wikipedia, because it's a global audience, it gets students to start thinking about how different cultures think about different topics and the different positions and angles that they can be thinking about a particular issue. And so for that, I think that adds a layer there of empathy and consideration for bias and
absolutely
stereotypes and things like that.
That's such a great point. That's one of the major reasons I love social media, because you have that global outreach to really show students like cross-cultural communication, sensitivity, and people have different values, different background. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I know I can just keep talking about this with you, Becky, forever, but like respect everyone's time and yours. And kind of just want to end today's show with some like last questions. What is one project you are so fired up right now and you want to share with us, and how we can help you?
Oh, goodness. What is that one? So I would say that I have a project on the horizon. Can I share that one with you?
Yes, of course. Anything. Yeah.
Okay. So, and it dovetails into some of the things that that Paige and I are doing for the Scientists Who Selfie, but I'm wanting to take some of our images and incorporate more images of scientists on to Wikipedia, actually Wikimedia Commons. So since any image that's on Wikipedia or Wikimedia Commons has a creative license where it can be shared. And then that allows students, when they're looking for authentic pictures of a scientist or a researcher or whatever it is, that they can grab that image and they can put it in their presentations and things. I'm also really looking for collaborators, both here at LSU as well as I have a colleague in University of Hong Kong. I'm wanting to set their two classes up to where they are collaborating on Wikipedia topics in topics on geology, so like basins and things, so that, you know, from both perspectives they could be working together, and then they would never see each other face to face. It would only be through the interactions of Wikipedia to really push that, you know, collaboration and publication process.
Wow, that is fascinating. I wish I could join, and like from different countries. That just sounds so amazing. Yeah.
And I'm always up for different ideas of, you know, collaborations in this manner, what people are thinking. There's just endless opportunities.
Yeah, I also love, I don't know if you guys hear this earlier, Becky mentioned that she and her research team, they are doing a research project studying like how their usage of Instagram, taking selfies, affect public perception of public trust of their scientific findings. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So I think it's so fascinating. I think definitely, you know, you show the human side of you, but that's just my perception. Yeah.
That human component is so important. And I mean, even with doing the technology, just kind of like what we just said, I think that human element really adds to the moment, and I think it makes things more engaging and more special.
Yeah, definitely. I hope you guys learned a lot from Becky today, and I'm just checking to see if people have any last minute questions. And if you have any more questions, and please feel free to still type here in the comment section, and I will ask Becky real quick. And if not, and can you just share with us how we can get a hold of you, Becky, and what is the best way to stay in touch with you? And then we will say goodbye.
Sure. So I'm on Twitter at BCARMI1. And that's actually also the beginning of my email here at LSU. It's bcarmi, BCARMI1 at lsu.edu. And I always enjoy a chat and trying to, brainstorm other ways we can share knowledge, get students out there learning and engaging them in content, in real world applications.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Becky. I learned so much about Wiki today and how to use it in the classroom. And I'm definitely going to check out Wiki Education Foundation. And hopefully one day our students in this audience, so we can all collaborate, given that we have people from all over the globe, from UK, Greece, the US doing this. And so fascinating. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. That would be a fantastic collaboration, I must say.
Yeah, a global project on Wikipedia. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And the next week, at the same time, and I have a student coming to join the show, and she's going to bring a different perspective. So far, we have been talking a lot about educators, but the student is going to share and a student's perspective on learning technology and social media. So if you want to hear a student's perspective, definitely join us next week here at the same time. And see you. And thank you so much again, Becky. And thank you guys for checking this out. And thank you for watching. Bye.